Everything changed the moment a strange message started spreading across fan circles, an anonymous post claiming that Tulsa King Season 3 Episode 9 had been leaked. No proof, no source, just a title, covered in rock, and somehow that tiny detail sent the entire fandom into chaos. Because if this leak is real, it might reveal the biggest turning point the show has had so far. And nobody seems ready for it. Rumors about this so-called leak began late at night. And it took almost no time before people started sharing the same mysterious title everywhere, covered in rock. At first, it sounded like just another fake episode name made to get attention, but something about it felt different. Fans noticed it matched the dark tone the season has been building. Some even pointed out that the phrase has been mentioned before in fan theories, especially around Dwight's growing pressure from all sides. Because by episode 8, Dwight wasn't just fighting one enemy. He was trapped between alliances that were breaking apart, people he trusted pushing away from him, and new rivals who seemed ready to strike at the smallest sign of weakness. So when this leaked title showed up, it didn't feel random, it felt like a warning. A sign that episode 9 might show Dwight hitting a moment where everything closes in on him. People started digging deeper, looking for clues tied to the title. A few claimed that rock might symbolize his new territory, while others believed it pointed to a betrayal hiding in plain sight. And of course, the moment theories started piling up, everyone wanted answers. Was the leak real? Was episode 9 actually called Covered in Rock? Or was someone playing with the fandom, creating a name that sounded just believable enough to stir up panic? The problem is, this season has already been unpredictable. Every episode pushed Dwight into tougher situations, tighter corners, and more desperate choices. So a title hinting that he's buried under pressure doesn't seem far-fetched. In fact, fans argued it almost makes too much sense. That's where the mystery gets even deeper. If the leak is fake, how did it line up so well with the direction of the story? And if it's real, why would someone risk releasing something this sensitive before the network even teased the episode? Fresh screenshots also started appearing online, though it was impossible to tell if they were real. Some looked AI-generated, some looked like fan edits, and some looked strangely close to actual scenes. But since no official source confirmed anything, all anyone had to rely on were whispers, guesses, and the fears of a fandom that knows something big is coming. And maybe that's what makes the situation even more intense, because episode 9 has been talked about for weeks. Fans expect it to be the moment where Dwight either rises with full force or collapses under the weight of everything he's been holding together. So when a rumor like this spreads, it instantly feels like a piece of the puzzle, even if no one knows whether it fits. For now, all we truly have is a title floating around the internet, a wave of fan theories, and a whole lot of confusion. But if even half of what people are whispering turns out to be true, then episode 9 might be the most explosive chapter the series has given us yet. As the rumor gained momentum, fans began connecting dots that weren't even visible at first. People started revisiting old interviews, behind-the-scenes pictures, and cast comments to see if anyone had accidentally hinted at episode 9. What surprised everyone most was how many small clues suddenly looked meaningful. One behind-the-scenes photo showed the cast standing near a quarry, and even though the picture looked harmless at the time, fans now believed it might be connected to the title Covered in Rock. Some argued that the quarry location perfectly matched the feeling of pressure, danger, and being trapped ideas that had been following Dwight since the start of season 3. Others pointed out that the show loves using symbolic titles, so a name that sounds heavy or overwhelming could easily reflect Dwight's emotional state rather than a physical situation. But these simple observations didn't calm anyone down, they made everything more intense. Because if the leak was fake, why were there so many coincidences? And if it was real, why was everything lining up so smoothly? The deeper fans looked, the more the mystery seemed to grow. Some online threads suggested the so-called leak didn't actually come from a fan but from someone claiming to have access to early footage. Of course, there was no proof. No screenshots tied to a real account. No history, nothing that made the source trustworthy. But that didn't stop people from believing it. The show has a fan base that loves drama both on and off the screen, so any hint of secret information sends people into detective mode instantly. Soon, the internet was filled with debates. Some said the leak sounded too clean, too well-written, almost like a planned marketing tactic. Others argued it couldn't be real because the network wouldn't let something this major slip out. And then there were those who believed completely because the idea of episode 9 being a turning point matches perfectly with the story's rising tension. Dwight has been walking on a tight wire this entire season. Every move he makes creates another enemy, and every promise he tries to keep pulls him deeper into dangerous territory. Fans have watched him build his empire with confidence, but they've also seen cracks appearing beneath him. That's why so many people think the word rock doesn't refer to an object, it refers to Dwight himself. A man who looks solid on the outside, but is struggling under the weight of too many decisions. If the leak is real, it could mean the writers are ready to show Dwight hitting a moment where he can't hold everything together anymore. But until the truth comes out, fans keep searching for answers. They replay scenes, break down hidden details, and share every theory like it could be the missing key. And that's what makes this rumor so powerful. Whether real or fake, it has taken over the conversation and pushed the excitement for episode 9 to a whole new level. Instead of waiting quietly for the next episode, the fandom is now buzzing with energy, anxiety, and curiosity. Everyone wants to know if Covered in Rock is truly the next chapter, because if it is, then the storm that's been building all season might finally explode. What truly pushed the rumor into overdrive was the sudden appearance of scene descriptions that started spreading in private chat groups and fan pages. These weren't polished summaries, they were messy, unclear, filled with typos, and looked like they were typed in a rush, which strangely made them feel more believable. People claimed these descriptions were taken from an early screener of episode 9, though nobody could prove it. Still, the moment these lines appeared, fans began analyzing every single word, trying to figure out what could be real and what might be bait. Some descriptions hinted at a confrontation that forces Dwight to face the consequences of choices he's been avoiding since the beginning of the season. Others suggested that someone close to him finally loses patience, pushing him into a dangerous corner he can't escape easily. And even though each description was different, they all had one thing in common: the idea that episode 9 would be the moment where Dwight can't hide from the pressure anymore. That idea alone was enough to make fans question everything. Things got even stranger when an old casting rumor resurfaced. Months ago, someone claimed a familiar face from Dwight's past would return in the later episodes of season 3. At the time, nobody cared. It sounded like another desperate rumor meant to grab attention. But now, with the title Covered in Rock floating around, fans began wondering if this returning character was connected. Some believe the character could be the one who buries Dwight emotionally or forces him to confront a painful truth. Others believed this mysterious figure might become the person who helps Dwight out of the tight spot he's trapped in. Either way, the fandom couldn't ignore the timing. The more connections they found, the more the episode title felt like a warning that something heavy, something personal was about to hit Dwight harder than any rival ever could, even actors. Social media posts started being pulled into the conspiracy. One cast member posted a picture of a pair of dusty boots with the caption "Long Day." It looked like a normal behind-the-scenes moment, but fans twisted it into proof that a major outdoor scene was filmed, possibly a tense showdown hinted at in the supposed leak. Another actor shared a cryptic emoji that fans connected to the episode's theme. Whether these posts meant anything or not didn't matter. Once the rumor started spinning, everything became a clue. Every casual photo became a puzzle piece, and every vague comment turned into a secret message waiting to be decoded. And then came the debates. Some fans argued the leak had to be fake because the descriptions were too dramatic, almost exaggerated. Others said the chaos of the writing matched the show's unpredictable storytelling. A few pointed out that fake leaks usually try to sound clean and official, but these descriptions were messy, almost the way someone would write if they were trying to avoid getting caught. The uncertainty made everything even more intense. People began choosing sides online, leak believers versus leak doubters. Threads turned into arguments, theories turned into battles, and everyone wanted to be the first to solve the mystery. But the biggest reason this rumor refuses to die is simple. It feels like the calm before the storm. Episode 8 left too many things hanging, too many decisions unresolved, too many threats circling Dwight from every direction. Fans already expected episode 9 to be explosive, so a leak claiming this episode will shake Dwight's world fits perfectly with the season's growing tension. Whether the leak is real or not, it has created a wave of expectation that the writers may never have planned, but now the entire fandom believes something massive is coming. And until the episode actually airs, the mystery only grows deeper, dragging everyone further into the chaos of speculation, doubt, and excitement. As the mystery kept spreading, fans started focusing less on whether the leak was real and more on what covered in Raw could truly mean for Dwight's journey. People began treating the title like a riddle, trying to decode its deeper message. Some argued it was a metaphor for Dwight's mental state, saying he has been carrying the weight of too many decisions, too many secrets, and too many promises. They believed episode 9 might finally show him reaching a breaking point, not with loud explosions or massive confrontations, but with the slow, crushing pressure of everything he has tried to control. Others thought the title hinted at a moment where Dwight is surrounded, not physically, but emotionally, pushed into a situation where every option feels dangerous. This theory quickly gained attention because it mirrors Dwight's entire storyline, a man who looks unshakable, yet stands on ground that constantly shifts beneath him. At the same time, some fans took the title more literally. They discussed scenes from previous episodes where construction sites, underground deals, or rocky landscapes played a role. They thought episode 9 might involve Dwight returning to a location tied to his past or facing a conflict that forces him into unfamiliar territory. A few even suggested it could be the episode where the story jumps back to show the audience a secret from Dwight's earlier life, something he has kept buried like a stone hidden under years of dirt. This idea started gaining traction because the show has teased Dwight's past many times but never revealed the full picture. If episode 9 were to finally uncover something he tried to forget, it would explain why the title feels both heavy and mysterious. What made the situation even more intense was how quiet the official channels remained. Not a single producer, writer, or cast member stepped in to calm the storm. No denials, no confirmations, nothing. And silence can be louder than any leak. Fans took the lack of response as a sign that something big was actually coming. Some said the studio was ignoring the leak because responding would draw more attention. Others believed the silence was intentional, a strategy to keep viewers guessing. But for most fans, the quietness only added fuel to the fire. When a show stays silent during a rumor, it creates a feeling that something is being hidden, something too important to address lightly. This silence also created a new wave of speculation about how episode 9 might end. People believed if the leak was real, then the episode could feature a major twist, something shocking enough that the studio wouldn't want spoilers spreading. Theories ranged from betrayals inside Dwight's crew to the return of a dangerous enemy to a moment where Dwight must make a decision that changes the entire direction of the story. These predictions weren't random, they came from watching Dwight's world slowly tighten around him. Every episode has shown him moving deeper into conflict, making risky alliances, and taking responsibility for people who constantly challenge him. Fans felt episode 9 might be the moment where the pressure he carries finally forces him into a choice he can't walk away from. But beneath all the noise, the arguments, and the fear of spoilers, there was something else happening too. The rumor brought the entire fandom together. People who never interacted before were suddenly sharing theories, digging into details, and bonding over the excitement of the unknown. It didn't matter whether the leak was real or fake, what mattered was the experience. The thrill of trying to piece together clues, the fun of arguing over possibilities, the hope that something massive was waiting just around the corner. And that's the real power of a rumor like this. Even with no proof, it creates a world where fans feel like detectives, insiders, and storytellers all at once. and whether Covered in Rock is the real episode 9 or just a clever piece of fan imagination. One thing is certain. The excitement it created has already set the stage for an unforgettable moment in the Tulsa King story.